Okay. Okay, we'll go ahead and start. If y'all recall, we had a meeting last year similar to this, but we got a little bit more to discuss, primarily because we had such a successful event last year. We've got some other items on the agenda. Uh, Hope not to take too long, but there is a lot of information that we're going to try to convey today and also get your input on. And then also for you end users, the employers, contractors, we're going to ask that you follow up with Miss Debbie over here that's going to be taking copious notes. So, but anyway, we'll get started, and then of course I'm going to have a couple of other people make some remarks. Jason Phelps, who's over Go Build, of course, the mayor, who has spearheaded this endeavor, and of course, another major stakeholder, uh, Corey Clements, our new superintendent for the Board of Education for Chilton County, who is all in about on workforce development. Um, Want to make sure that I mention these folks, but make sure everybody understand. Of course, you guys, I think this crowd here realizes you got to have a relationship and a partnership with key stakeholders on something like this. If you don't have that, you're going to have a missing link, and that's where the disconnect comes from. So this tripartite, I guess, is the best name for it. Relationship is going to be, of course, with the Board of Education, the City of Clanton, and then, of course, the contractors, the end users. So, and all three are vital parts of this endeavor. Uh, the bottom line here, folks, is it's real simple. It's about workforce development and providing opportunities for our young people. We see this growing as we continue to show things and get results. Uh, but it's providing these opportunities and ensuring that we connect the needs of the employers to the available workforce. That sounds real simple. Just connecting the dots. But, getting there is the complicated thing. For some reason, there tends to be breakdowns where you're not communicating with the employer and their needs, and you're not providing the you're not educating the career coaches who are actually working with the employers to gather that subject matter expert information. That's where you get your disconnect. So it's real simple, but again, that's what we're trying to do, is just connect the dots. And then, of course, fill in the things and kind of explain each role. And that's what we're going to do today. Explain each role of these stakeholders and what we're going to need for you to do to make this successful. I'm going to make a kind of a bold statement here, but we've got a bold administration. I mean, this was part of the mayor's campaign promises, and if you don't believe me, just meet with the mayor after the meeting, and you'll see what I'm talking about. When he gets serious about something, and this is very near and dear to his heart, he doesn't let off, and he makes it happen. We will get results. I can assure you. If not, if nothing else, we don't build a facility, which is kind of the long term plan, and I'll let him talk more about that. If nothing else, we will, I guess you could say, enhance the things that we're currently doing with a very good technical center that we have just up the road, and that's our LeCroy Vocational Tech School. So, if we don't actually build brick and mortar, we feel that by going through this exercise, we can expand the role and what they're doing out there. And of course, we're not going to limit our recruiting efforts just to Chilton County. The plan is to offer this kind of on a regional basis as we grow, and then even on a state level if it necessitates. If we really see that there's needs out there that are not being met, And folks, I know we talk about, well, you got this going on in Prattville, you got this going on in Ellick City. Guys, I learned a long time ago when I was dabbling with workforce development, and Jason will vouch for this. Jason, who is our CEO over Alabama Construction Recruitment Institute, also known as Go Build Alabama, there is enough need that if you built these on every corner, they'd be beneficial. You guys, we don't have to, you guys all know this. You guys are experts in this. Uh, there is such a need, even if we play a small role, if it's just a handful of occupations that we narrow it down to, it's still going to be helpful. And we feel like because we're centrally located, the mayor has kind of set aside, as we were selling off property for the first 2 years of his administration, has set aside 100 acres right off of the interstate just behind Jeff State, potentially build a training facility, which would be more or less an extension for LeCroy Vocational Technical School. But it'll give them more exposure and, of course, really be able to focus on the VOTEC side of it. And as y'all well know, you're going to need large bay areas and all that. So it would be a completely different venue, so to speak. But if we can, we see the need exist as we drill down into this, and we see that we can effectively recruit, which we feel like we can. I say that because we got two career coaches that are local. They're ours, some of our folks. Then I also have Jason, who's a good friend of mine, and he and I worked together with Go Build when I was with Alabama Power, that has offered to kind of be the marketing arm for our endeavor. And let me tell you, he's got tons of resources that are paid by, in essence, by the contractors with a fee that they have to pay. So there's material on the 100+ construction occupations that he can share with career coaches. He's got experienced subject matter expert coaches that can help transfer knowledge to our local coaches, because we know they just don't deal with craft trades, they deal with other occupations. And so to know all about every single job, it's very, very time consuming. But there's such a need in the craft trades. We feel like let's focus on this for the time being. But as Dr. Wallace had mentioned to us, there's other fields that she would like for us to entertain as we go further into this. Plenty of opportunities. So hopefully by the end of this meeting, everybody should have a good understanding as to the role they play, and a lot to accomplish today. So we're going to be asking for input as we delve into the agenda. So let's try to keep the thing going and not get up too far off, because we've got a lot to accomplish today in this short time frame. First of all, I'll just go over real quickly what the 3 or 4 things that we're going to address today. First, we want to get everybody up to speed on our recruitment and hiring day. It's what the mayor likes to call it, not just career day. Recruitment and hiring day at Jeff State on February the 23rd. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about our pilot summer construction program, 2-month program that we're going to be hosting out here at LeCroy Technical School, and discuss how the career coaches and each of you end users, the stakeholders, will play a part in that. How the County Board of Education, Corey Clements, our superintendent, will talk about some of the things that he's going to ask for as far as speakers, subject matter experts coming into the schools. So we're going to talk about that, and then what of course the city can do. We're also going to discuss The importance of the role of the career coaches. I mean, it's extremely important, and I talked a little bit about that, but also not just for this particular program, but future training that may exist somewhere else. Okay, our main goal is not necessarily to fill up classes necessarily here. Our main goal is to create opportunities for our young people in this community. And if it's not training here and it's down the road somewhere, so be it. So we're not just you know focusing micro to just Chilton County. We're possibly going to expand this, like I said, regionally or statewide in our recruitment efforts. And at the same time, we're going to talk about the role of Go Build and how they'll be specifically involved from a career coaching standpoint and potentially funding. Jason he wears two hats. He's also over the craft training board, the funding piece. So we're going to talk about the potential. Of course, we'll have to apply and meet all their criteria, but for the potential of obtaining some funding for that, as well as any materials, etc., that he can provide. And then Corey, like I said, we'll discuss having representatives from individual companies coming to his schools and being there each of the months of the 23-24 school year. Okay. Let's get down into the meat of the thing here. All right, recruiting event on February 23rd. It's going to, March 23rd. We'll begin at 8 o'clock to get ready to set up, or you can come the night before. But I think it's at 10 o'clock, Deb, is when the 11th and 12th graders. Thank you, Deb. Now, we're also going to have open it up to the public. Did you mention that, Deb? Okay, and those will be for what we call our influencers. You guys are familiar with that term. That's your coaches, counselors, teachers, parents, underemployed, unemployed, for them to come in. We just didn't want to mix and mingle or commingle, I guess is a better word, our students with that group. And I think, Mayor, you actually thought of something over the weekend about in the event we get rained out or whatever to have a second day. Okay. Uh, Input. Any ideas? I know some of you guys probably were there last year. Is there any input that you want to provide to Debbie now while we're here, or even later, as to how we can improve last year's event? Mm-hmm. Mark? Uh, the mayor and I have heard, and Debbie have heard, where there were some employers. I think Alan, for example. Do you have? Don't you have an example? Okay. Uh, as far as other recruiting individuals to, oh yeah, Deb, you got any comment? Thanks, Deb. And of course, there's another group I failed to mention. There will be involved, and I kind of consider them as industry people, like employers. You're gonna have your associations, like Mark with AGC, Billy Norrell. I know the road builders. Uh, yep, Skip Poe. Alan, of course, is involved in the road builders. You'll have them present, and they bring a lot to the table too. So, and this will be a constant information flow. I mean, not we're not going to be able to communicate and have resolution on everything today. There's going to be a lot of follow up. It's kind of launching information sharing beginning today. We also are going to have this filmed to send out to the users, the companies, and the parties that are unable to make it here today. Yep. I think that's a real, real important comment you made, Alan, because this is kind of unique. Now, we've seen it in other places, and Jason can probably talk to that, but I've actually seen programs that tend to be successful, bottom line, are individuals that are recruited in specific occupations and they are sponsored by an employer. In other words, they and that's what this next subject I'm going to get into, that they're actually interns, they're on the payroll. And in order for this to work, we feel that you're going to have to sponsor some kids to go through the training. Pay them, and I'll go over the rate, an hourly rate, and then of course it doesn't obligate you to hiring them, but there will be a pool of individuals that you can select or you can have input in. We're kind of, it's an unknown for us. We've been told that you need 15 to 20 kids to really justify, or young people or people in general, to attend a class. So we're going to ask that each employer contact Debbie by, say, mid-March, and identify, first of all, the two top occupations that they feel are in the most need, where they're really having difficulty finding individuals that they feel that could meet their criteria. Power Company does it in a way, if any of y'all are familiar with it, through the apprenticeship boot camp, where they spend a couple of weeks out climbing a loft, working with tools without hugging the pole. Just the essential things to be an effective lineman. So there's some kind of there's some baseline criteria that you're going to have to really work in that occupation. We no longer have meter readers, and that was kind of the job that we put people that couldn't really, say, withstand climbing poles and working a loft. But that has since gone away. So bottom line, if we had an individual we employed and they didn't work out as a lineman out in the divisions, they were terminated. They didn't have another job to fall to. So we think it's real important that the end user gives us top two occupations so we can determine what we're going to do out here with our pilot program, and then also the number of interns they're willing to sponsor. Of course, this pool of graduates be interviewed at the end by these end users. They'll be in a bid war, basically, selecting individuals to either pursue further training in their house or at the technical school, and then of course obtain work experience also. Good example is went to a facility in Americus, Georgia, ran into, I think it was 12 individuals. Well, there were 3 employers that were sponsoring diesel mechanics. So it was 4, 4, and 4. John Deere, Caterpillar, and I can't think of the other company, actually were sponsoring these 4 individuals. They'd go to school a quarter. They'd go back to Tennessee, for example, at their Caterpillar plant, get work experience in the plant. Go back to Americus, Georgia, for additional training. And this curriculum was determined by the end user, so it determined how much training, in-house training, that they wanted to provide. So again, though, if you tailor it more to fit the end user's need, the more successful I think your programs are going to be, which is logical. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Yeah. As I mentioned earlier, to Alan's point, we eventually see that we're not just going to be continuing, our long range plan focusing just on Chilton County Schools. The mayor's already talked to other mayors in contiguous counties about partnering with us and going out into their schools and recruiting same. Uh, so there's no telling how big this can be. You go to these places where they have these training facilities, you'll find students from all across the southeast that have been somehow ended up at this facility. That's why we can maybe specialize two, three, maybe a handful of occupations, say out here, but still meet a need. Key is finding those key occupations that we feel will help the industry. And from a selfish standpoint too, when you have skilled labor in the area, it's just an additional tool in your toolbox to recruit industry as well as augment, support existing industry. Judy, as you well know. Let's see. So pilot program plans to have one or possibly two 8-week courses beginning in June and completed by July at LeCroy Technical School here in Clanton, 5 days a week. Of course, there won't be any off-campus training. That we might bring some equipment or whatever to if it's so deemed out at LeCroy to give them some hands-on, but no travel, I guess, for these 8 weeks. So we're going to need the employer to identify, say, top 2 occupations that they feel are in need. Get those to Debbie so we can prioritize them. And then how many interns each of the sponsors are willing to train at a rate of $15 an hour, 8 hours a day, Monday through Friday, for 8 weeks, which equates to $4,800. Also, input on how employers can support us in training, say with subject matter experts. We are going to need individuals from these companies to participate in training. Now, I know Jason and I talked about a pilot program in Mobile, and I'm going to get him to talk more about that. But they did some real, I guess you'd call it generic or general, your basic OSHA 10 training. Feels like there's a good bit of that all of your kids that go into the various occupations are going to need anyway, and then you're going to have some specialized, specific to that occupation training as well. We're not expecting LeCroy to come up with those subject matter experts. And I think there's 1 or 2 individuals out there that can provide some broad base training. So we'll have to, but we got plenty of time to work on that. So you'll have some more I guess you call it customized training. Also, what equipment you feel the end user can help provide that supports training out there. And of course, as I mentioned, graduates from this pilot program will be interviewed by employers that are contributing to this program. Okay. Any questions with regard to that? I know that was kind of a high level view, but we're trying to keep it as simple as possible. We might not have all the answers, but we feel like we sit down and discuss this on several occasions with an end user, with Corey, and with the mayor. And we thought this was some of the most important things to get us started. And if you have any follow-up questions, let Debbie know, and we'll circle the wagons and get the information questions back to you. Support, and I'm going to ask Jason to kind of facilitate this discussion, but again, what I'm wanting Jason to hit on particularly is his relationship with the Board of Education career coaches and training, educating them on the various occupations, the materials that he'll be able to provide the career coaches, the role that his career coaches might play in this actually on the ground, the available funds that may exist at the craft skills entity, and discuss Mobile's pilot. Jason, uh, come up just for a minute.
Uh, yeah, I'm just going to touch on a few things. I can. Um, Everybody can hear me now. So, just to touch on a few things, your career coaches do a great job. We provide them with materials on construction throughout the course of the year, and if they need more of those materials, we can certainly um, arm them with those materials from the Go Build side. One of the things that I thought was unique that they did last year with this program that more folks might want to engage with if they do it again this year is they went to all of the high schools and had sort of a general assembly of this is what to expect out of this upcoming career event. So when you're, I had the opportunity. I think I went to Verbena High School. Don't hold me to it, but so I got to get up there and in 5 minutes say, okay, here's what you're going to see at this. You're going to see equipment. And you're going to see these employers. Um, if you should have the time, if they do this again and you have the time to participate in that, I would recommend doing it. It's going to be done. It was quick. It was in the morning. Again, it took probably 20 minutes. You're going to spend more time driving probably than you are presenting, but it will allow you to say, my company is going to be there. We're going to have this, and if you're interested in working for us, this is what I want you to bring to that event. This is what you need to have with you. So you can go ahead and prime them on that side of it. And then also, you're arming those career coaches as they talk to all those students up front. It's like, hey, we had Wiregrass Construction was with us at Verbena High School, and they said, make sure you have your driver's license, social security card with you because they're going to bring a printer. And if you want to work for them, they're going to make copies. They're going to do these kind of things to move along with you. Um, and just sitting here and talking about this and hearing some of that, last year I know everything was put together rather quickly. So, this year I know there's going to be a bigger push for the public side to it. But one thing to consider, and I don't know if we have a representative here from that organization, but we may want to look at um, partnering with the Clanton Career Center and having that afternoon be the Clanton Career Day, but also you're partnered with the ADOL, make it one of their official job fairs too, so that they send all of their um, unemployed folks that they're currently working with. They're telling them, got to go to this job fair, so we can drive some more of the public around here to that job fair. So that would be one recommendation that I'd make. And again, there's a career center right here in Clanton, so it's a great partnership. You're going to be accessing your local folks right away. Um, just on a couple other things, marketing plan. Last year again we were quick. This year on the Go Build side, we'll definitely do more to help. I don't want to tell you exactly what we're going to do because I'm not a creative person. So I'll go back and tell our marketing team we've got 6 weeks. What's our plan going to be? And then I'll send that to the mayor and Bob and everybody so they know, from a Go Build perspective, what we're going to do. It'll probably be around social media and some digital type advertising because that's the easiest way to put together a program like this. Um, and then going into, I had the opportunity to come and participate in one of these other meetings that they had where, the next extension of what they're doing with the career center, career fair recruiting fair is to extend it to a pilot type of training program. And again, I think your vision there is for high school seniors, graduated seniors, maybe some adults, maybe some new hire employees from local businesses to go into this program. So Bob is, as he mentions that, he's right on. You know, I would I would send those occupations that he asked for, but I would also send him what are the 5 core skills you want from an entry level employer. You know, is it Basic math, reading a measure? Is it material handling? Knowing how to push that wheelbarrow when it's full. Is it hand tools, power tools? And what are those core skills that you really want to see that person that's coming to you? You're not going to get, you're not going to have a trained, skilled worker coming to you in a short-term training program. So, what are the skills that are going to make you feel good about having them productive from day one with your company? So, I would send occupations that you need. What are some of those core skills that you need to have that entry level worker have? Because that will help them design this course for those folks to be able to put them out into into your workforce and into your companies. And just to touch a little bit on the program in Mobile that I think is kind of unique. It was a short-term training program. It was actually conducted by the Associated General Contractors, who I see Jeff Rogers in the back here. It was their Mobile chapter that put it together, and the way they built their program, I want to say it was maybe a 3-week class, and it was all for current employees. But the contractor sat down at a table and said, "Here are the 5 things we want training in." And there were some road builders, equipment operator type companies that were there, and it was, um, gosh, I forget all of the things they had, but I think it was some flagger training was put into that program. Um, One of the things they needed was some really base level field engineering. So they put um, a segment in there about how to operate a total station. So again, these are for current workforce type people that they were sending to their program. So I think, as you build this out, keep it local, keep it tied to your businesses, and say this is what we need to have covered in this program. And now here's the big carrot. As the mayor and all these, the board of education, they do all this work to put this together. On the back end, they need contractor commitment. They need you to commit to sponsoring these interns or hiring out of the back end. However that program's going to work, they need a formal commitment that you're going to do it. And everybody in here is in business, and stuff changes. So if you commit to hiring 3 people but you can only hire 1 or 2, I don't think anybody's going to rake you over the coals for that. But they need you on the front end to be willing to say, if we get 15 people in a class, that there's enough of us in this room in commitments that we're going to hire 20 people if they all complete that class. So we're going to have 100% placement, and our program in Clanton is going to be more successful than everybody else. It's going to be the model that everybody comes to as we move forward. And so that those kind of things, I think again, send those occupations, send those goals, send those commitments that you're willing to hire. If this program gets up and running, we'll commit to 3 interns, or send me more details, but I think this is where our commitment level is going to be. And let them build out that program and give you some people that are going to meet your exact needs going into the industry. I told you I was going to keep it brief. Is there, in saying all that, with this pilot program and the training program, the one thing that we do work with another board. I'm not over that board. I just, we help facilitate the board. The board is the leadership, but it's the Alabama Construction Industry Craft Training Board. They actually are the ones that provide this grant program for commercial industrial craft training. So for that pilot program, it would need to be in those parameters. It would need to be serving adults, but if it serves adults, it can serve high school students. So there can be dual purpose in that. And the grants can range anywhere from $15,000 to $100,000. Again, if you're doing it in the summertime, it's a state funds. It has to be reimbursed. So, you'll want to make sure that you've got whatever amount of funds you need for the grant to put out on the front end to make sure it's a successful program. It can be funded back through the state on that grant. But we have all the resources that you all need to put together this program and apply for that grant. With me today is Hayes Vincent. He's the program manager for the CICT grant program. So as they come together and they get your feedback, they have someone that's going to help them write this grant so that we can give it the best foot forward to be able to receive those funds from that CICT board of directors. So I can answer questions, or I can go sit down and sure.
Thank you, Jason. March. Okay. I guess we can move to the next topic. And then we'll open, like you say, up to we'll have the mayor say some things, but then open it up. Last thing to Q&A. Corey, I know you had a specific request, and I'm going to turn it over.
Good morning. I'm Corey Clements. I'm the superintendent of Chilton County School System. For those of you that don't know, more important than that, I'm a lifelong resident of Chilton County. I've always been community minded. Uh, Now, in the past, that was limited to Thorsby, where I live and where I work. But now I've got the opportunity to work with a larger group, and really excited about some things that we have going on. I get the chance to combine two things that I'm passionate about now, and that's serving our students and then community improvement through workforce development. Really excited about that. Got a great team at our central office that we put together, and now we're excited about our partnership that we're looking to build with the city of Clanton through this workforce development project. The goal of our school system is to create skilled graduates that are employable. That's what we want. We want to create good citizens that are prepared to leave high school and go out and pursue skilled jobs. We're in a situation now. This is just the data. About 12% of our students complete a 4-year degree. So that's 88% of our students that don't finish a 4-year degree. So we realize that there's a job specialization gap there that we need to address in creating skilled graduates that are not going to go the college prep course. The career fair or the hiring and recruitment fair, whatever you want to call it, is a huge success. I've been in education for 25 years, and last year the one that we went to, that we put on, that the city put on here, was one of the best that I've ever been to. And I believe it's going to be better this year. It was very well organized. Our kids were exposed to a ton of different things, and actually more planning has gone into it this year, and I'm really excited and looking forward to it. What the city is doing, though, fits perfectly with what I want to do for our students moving forward. And just tell you about something that we're doing for the 2023 school year on in our 7th through 12th grade schools. We're going to put together a program. Every Wednesday is going to be Workforce Wednesday in our schools. We have a period of time between our second and third block that we call acceleration or remediation. It's a 30-minute block of time that every 7th through 12th grade student goes through. And every Wednesday, we're dedicating that time to workforce development with our 7th through 12th grade students. That's 90 instructional hours during the course of the school year that we're setting aside for workforce development. We want to work on career exploration, learning those prerequisite skills, working on soft skills, learning how to shake hands, look people in the eye, write a resume, those kind of things, and then exploring different jobs. Part of that is we want to create a speaker series where we're bringing people in from industry to talk to our students about careers and things that they maybe don't know about. And to do that, what we're going to do is we're going to set aside the first Wednesday of every month to bring in a speaker from industry. We have 6 high schools. We have 4 K through 12 schools, and then two high schools that are just 9 through 12 in Jemison and Clanton. And what we would like is the first Wednesday of every month, we would like to have a speaker in all 6 of our high schools during that acceleration period. To do that, we're looking for a commitment from 9 industries to have a speaker all 9 months of the school year from September through May, and just have it set in our calendar that our principals and our counselors know that every first Wednesday of the month that we're going to have a workforce leader come in and speak to our students about career explorations, um, just some things that we want to discuss would be prerequisite skills, employment opportunities, salary, career advancement. You know what that looks like if I go to work for Adient. You know what does my career path look like if I want to make a career out of that. And so what we're looking for as a school system is for 9 industries that our students would be interested in to commit to saying, I can send somebody for 6 weeks to your schools to help you out during this period. I've already got a schedule made up. I have already lined up one this morning. Mr. Robert Threlkeld's already agreed to come speak to our students. He's got a very unique skill set. He can talk to our students about careers in the military while also talk to them about heavy equipment and his second career and engineering and things like that. So what we're asking for is just a commitment. We want to open our doors to you. This doesn't cost you anything, and it's only a service to our students to expose them to opportunities in the workforce around here that they can pursue. So if you're interested in that, please let me know. I'd be happy to pencil you in on our schedule, and I'm excited about the things that we're doing. This is probably the only time you're going to see me that I'm not asking you for money. But I'm not asking anybody for money. I'm just asking for your help in helping our students. And like I said, we are extremely excited about not only the recruiting and hiring fair, but also our plans for the next school year, our plans for this pilot program, and then the plans we have to open a post-secondary training center over behind Jeff State. Just really excited. This is the kind of positive things that we want to be spending our time on in education, and not all the stuff that seems to get us on the news sometimes. These are the good things that we want to be doing. So any help that you can give us will be greatly appreciated. Our school system is here to help, and our children are our most valuable resource, and we need your help in teaching them the importance of work. I'm going to be the point of contact on that. My email is hcclements@chiltonboe.com, and you can email me anytime. And we have a 24-hour communication turnaround policy. If you hadn't heard from me within 24 hours, something's bad wrong. You can email me directly, and I will get you set up on our speaker schedule, and I'll try to do it. If you can commit to it, I'll try to get you 6 months in a row where you can tell your people, hey, I'm going to need you the first Wednesday from November through May. And you can go ahead and write it on your calendar, and I'll plan it, and I'll work with you any way that I can. And if for some reason you got something comes up and you can't make it, just let me know. And we'll get with those schools, the counselors and the principals, and let them know. But they're going to know that Wednesdays are something different, something special that we're working toward. Again, that's hcclements@chiltonboe.com. Any other questions? Anybody? Well, thank you. Like I said, I wish there was another word besides excited that I could use, because I've said excited about 10 times since I've been up here. But this is a really big opportunity for our students, and like I said, it's the kind of good things that we need to be doing in our school system. All right, thank you very much.
I want to thank all of you for coming, and I know it's a lot to take up your time, especially on Monday, and and I appreciate all the ones that's watching this morning that couldn't be here. You know, this is, to me, I didn't graduate high school. I didn't go to college. I didn't do any of that stuff. I got out and went to work. I've always done it, and I think anybody can be successful as long as you're dedicated and determined. I've always been told I'm the most determined SOB that anybody's ever seen. So that is what's made me successful at doing what I've done all my life. I've worked ever since I was a little boy, and I guess you could say an entrepreneur all my life, doing all kind of things. But that's the reason why I'm passionate about what we're doing here, because I know that it's just like Corey said, there's 88% of these kids that's, listen, back when I was young, you went to work when you was, you know, I picked tomatoes, picked peaches, whatever a farmer could let you do. And then when I went to work with my daddy at a very, very young age, we done whatever. Nowadays, you got to be a grown man before you can go out and do anything, which is ridiculous. You can thank our government for that, but anyway, that's just the way it is. I'll just tell it like I see it. My thing is, I want to make sure that all these kids get the opportunity, because I heard something this morning that they talking about these prisoners they letting out of prison. Don't even know how to set an alarm clock. Well, hey, they ain't the only one. You know, like Corey's talking about teaching these kids how to be at work on time. Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. Things like that, it gets you a long way, especially here in Alabama. You might get by with some of that stuff up north, wherever, but that's their business. But anyway, I want to see us be successful, and we've talked about trying to do the school. I know we've talked a lot of things about things this morning about we got to put together this pilot program to see if it's going to work, and I really think it will be with Lee Croy and Dr. Walker and you girls over there. That you know, if we can get 15 people, 15 students, I want to work on students. We got other people, that's fine, dandy, but if it turns out to be 30, we'll do 30. And then if this works, we'll build a school over here behind Jeff States. Got the perfect place for it, and we can just keep on adding to all kind of things. Culinary school, you know, you look at it, everybody's going to eat. I promise you. Most of us all eat this morning. We'll eat lunch, they'll eat supper, so somebody's going to have to cook it if you can't cook it yourself. So, but anyway, there's things like that that we can just keep on growing. And I look forward to seeing it all happen. Last year, the career day, job day, recruitment day, you know, we didn't know what to expect. We kind of had it planned, but it kind of, you know, it drifted off course a little bit and come back. Tried to do the 9th, 10th, and 11th grade students. And, you know, they came in there and they was all excited. And it went real well, but we didn't know what time it was going to be over. So we was trying not to intermingle this stuff with the public. And so we just kind of shut it down when they got through, and it was a little after lunch. This year we're going to do the 11th and 12th graders. And so we want those 12th graders, when they get there that day, to put down 2 things they want to do. Diesel mechanics is going to be one of them. The other one, and maybe we'll have enough classes to do, enough students to do 2 of them. The diesel mechanics will be one of them, and the reason for it is Lee Croy's got a mechanics class over there. And we'd like to just add on to that, you know, and see how it works out. And y'all know all the rest of it with the end users and whatever. So, but that's kind of the direction we headed. We know that these students will get there that morning around 8:30, we're thinking, right, Corey? And they'll be there probably 2 hours, 2.5 hours. And after then, we're going to open it up to the public. We'll do it all day on the 6 o'clock that afternoon. If we can get that done that day, between now and then, if we get enough participation in this thing, people want to do it 2 days while we got all the equipment, the booths and all set up, we'll do it 2 days. But if not, we know we're going to get one good day. And of course, in March, rain. And if it rains that day, we probably will do it the next day, regardless. So that's the kind of the direction that we headed. We all want to make it be successful, and like I say, I appreciate y'all coming today and taking the time to do this. And what we'll do, I'll get Jason back up here just shortly. I'll let Bob finish it up here, and we'll all get right here. The ones that's been up here speaking this morning, y'all got questions, go ahead. We want to hear from you, because everything that we learning from y'all will be able to apply it that day, or even in our class at the end of school. So Bob, if you want to come back and
I think I've read guys that sometimes do our introduction, or most times do our introduction at the beginning of the meeting. Read an interesting article about that they felt like it was more effective if you introduce people and what their role is at the end of a meeting. So if you real quickly could just, so everybody kind of get familiar with the group that's here, identify who you are, what your title is, or what you do, and who you represent. So I'll start by saying I'm Bob Woods, Chief of Staff for the City of Clanton and for Mayor Mims. Met Corey Roddy. Introduce yourself, please. Okay. Jason's already spoke. You, sir? Okay. No, Debbie, Councilman Singleton, Billy Singleton with the City of Clanton. You, sir? See you, Tim. Got everybody? Okay. All right. Well, I guess now we will begin with our Q&A. Well, let me say, there's one more thing. I asked Robert, there was something that Corey had sent me, and for the second time, I couldn't get to it. I asked Robert to look into it because this kind of falls in his bailiwick. Do you mind running this program we asked you to look into real quick before we start our Q&A, Robert? Yes, sir, please.
There's a new program we found out about, I guess literally found out about Friday. And so we dug into it a little bit. This is a program that's funded by the legislature, and it's called Career Blade. Some of you may be familiar with it, but what it tries to do is tie businesses to teachers to students. And what they're doing is they're putting together a database that will take the businesses and a survey that they fill out and talks about the jobs that the businesses have, the career paths that they have, wage scales that they have, and provides it so the teachers can access it, and it's supposed to put together lesson plans that the teachers can use or career coaches can use. and it's run by a regional director here. Her name's Monica Owsley, Monica McGriff Owsley. And so, like the first step would be that businesses go into this website, and I'm going to go ahead and give it to you now because you can go in and access it, and you're going to be asked by supposedly the Chamber of Commerce to go ahead and fill this out. It's called, if you go on the internet, it's careerbladealabama.com, and it's pretty easy. You go in there and it'll say there's 3 tabs. One's for students, one's for teachers, and one's for business. And you go into business section and it'll give you a survey to go to, and you fill out that survey, and then the teachers can access it, and then they can go, like on the career workforce Wednesday, go in and take the lesson plan and teach the kids about the different businesses that are in that database and talk to them about career paths. So that's pretty much it. That's all we know right now. We're going to get a briefing from Miss Owsley. We're targeting next Monday, the 20th. Trying to set that up. So that's about it.
Thank you, Robert. Hey, yes.
The, the only thing I could think of, and Miss Fortner, y'all might could help me with this. I know we had people at each booth and with each industry to tell our students about our companies and job opportunities. Maybe if we had a brochure or a flyer for every table to, and I know 99% of them end up on the ground, but if we just had something to hand them, hey, if you're interested in Chilton Contractors, or you're interested in Alabama Power, here's my card, and here's some information about our company. That's the only thing. It was very well put together last year, and I know every table you went to, you had informed people there that could tell about it. If we could just have something maybe physical to hand them is the only thing. And by limiting it to just 11th and 12th graders instead of everybody, you're going to be looking at no more than 600 students with all 6 of our schools. If that helps you as far as getting a number of things, but then you're gonna have adults come in after lunch.
We had it last year. The reason why we want to do it tonight, and first wanted these kids to get excited. Everybody's heard of touch a truck. You take the little bitty fellas, if you're this little or this little, they still like seeing big trucks, big things. So that's the reason why we done it last year. Back this year, 11, well, Monk, you got something? I think on We had it on the flyer, I think, but it, right. That flyer that we got, hadn't it got, it would be basically what, right? And if they try to get it on the TV station too, man. Radio, got another, got to answer this question again, I guess, Robert, maybe after today, talk, right, about this. Uh, anybody else? y'all just get here and kind of get the mic.
So my email, best way to contact me is going to be SP, so S as in Sally, P, my name here, Hughes, HUGHES at chiltonboe.com. And just for you to know, I serve Verbena High School, Isabella High School, and CCHS. Those are the 3 high schools that I cover, along with CCHS has CMS, the elementary school, and then the intermediate school as well. So those are the schools that I cover.
All right, I cover all the Jemison schools, Thorsby, and Maplesville. And my email address is wmfortner, that's FORTNER, at chiltonboe.com.
One good? Yes, sir.
No, like I said, every one of our students has a Chilton BOE email account. We have to create something. Of things that I guess what you're saying is look, I'm not technology savvy, but what you're saying is if somebody was interested in going to work at McKinnon's, could we create a way for them to go ahead and upload a resume and letter of interest or something like that to straight to McKinnon's from school? I'm sure it's possible. I would have to talk to somebody, get that set up. I can't do that. That's a great idea. Uh, I would have to talk to somebody to get that set up once we have all our vendors and everything. Uh, no, I could do that. I could do that. Yep. I'll let the mayor do that.
Yeah, right. Clyde Chandler, April Weaver, Van, hadn't talked. I've talked to some other mayors around. You know, they said, "Hey, man, we'd love to come up there and see how it's done." I got one that's 21 and wonder, man. Right. That would be great. We got the room on the outside. It'd be on the what's north side, northeast side, I guess, toward the interstate. We're setting up all the equipment out there. Anything that y'all can bring like that, city, we're gonna have this year too. Didn't last. Anything that they could see, and look at that. I'd like to be an operator. I got to go to work. So whatever y'all want to do, can yeah. Yes, sir. Come up here. Your name earlier, but I want y'all to introduce you to this guy right here. He is the one doing the grants. Well, we get these kids hired, or anybody. You need help, grant writing to help you. Actually, gonna help you. Yeah, like the payroll. Y'all know how it is. I mean, I've been doing this stuff. You'll spend a lot of money trying to get somebody trained. Most time you get them trained, it takes an hour. But that's fine. Hey, but he can help you write the grant and introduce yourself and
Thank you. So my name is Hayes Vincent. I'm with the CICT board. We work in close proximity with Jason and ACRI, but we do the grant program as our day job. So we can help you write the grant. I'll help you get your budget in place where it fits the board's parameters. Basically, all we need you to do is come to us with an idea, and people that want to train, pretty much do everything we can to make it work. So we do have some parameters. I can get through that list with you guys if you are interested. I've got some cards up here if you want to catch me after the meeting. But we will work with contractors, K through 12 education entities. We'll do community colleges, unions. We'll do basically everybody. So for more information, just come grab me up here. I've got cards for you. And, like the mayor said, we will do everything we can to try to make you guys have a successful program with us.
Sir. All right. Any more questions? Bobby? Okay. All right. Well, thank you. Anybody else? There's no further questions. I know we'll have some after we get through here. Y'all can feel free to as much time as you need to. But again, I want to thank all of you for coming. And I look forward to March the 23rd, hopefully the 24th. So thank y'all and stay in touch.